got my Christmas pickle. Never heard of a Christmas pickle?
Let me tell you about it. The Christmas Pickle. To start a tradition that surely will last, here's a quick story about the pickle of glass, in our case wood. The night before Christmas, it's hung in the tree. While everyone's sleeping, it's done secretly. And on Christmas morning, when you arise, the first one to find it will get a surprise. A family tradition for all to share. You'll look for the pickle year after year. And that's the story of the Christmas pickle. So let's carve a pickle. I've got a piece of wood here. It's 1 by 1 by 2.5, and this is basswood, but any wood will do and any size will do. Once you see us do it, we're carving a pickle. One of the easiest, best beginner projects you can do. So let's just jump right in and get started. So let's just take our piece of wood here and then mark 1/4 inch all sides. All right. Let's mark them all. Alright. Okay, and then I'll do the top. Let's just go a good 1/2 inch on the top, all sides, and a good 1/2 inch on the bottom too. That'll just give us a good reference to where we're headed. Okay. All these corners, we're just going to go and flatten them out. They don't have to be pretty. We're just kind of getting a semi-round, getting the corners off. Okay. We're just joining those flat lines, or making the lines flat between, I should say. All right. All right. Very simple. All right. Now, although this is going to change, let's take our 1/2 inch ones and just kind of take them right off too. Right around, even the 1/4 inch. Like I said, it's going to change. We're going to angle it one side or the other, but in the meantime, we'll have a relatively flattish, roundish top and bottom. Now the reason that we did that, making these flat, is right in the center here we're going to hollow this out, and that's not a normal thing to do on your with the grain. So we can only take little cuts, and we got to get that knife in and out. It's not it's going to be there we start to tear a bit. See that? So if we're going to tear, where it's better to tear on the bottom, because in reality we're going to be thinning out the bottom anyway. So there, just like that. Okay, there's a little rodent here. Hey, this is Gwen, and I am babysitting Gwen, and if I don't have Gwen right here with me, she'll be crying and screaming and I won't be able to make this video. So you can thank Willow for leaving. And we'll just kind of round that in. Kind of a hard thing to hold on to, but there, you can see how we got that little bit of a hollow in there. Just a little bit of a little hollow. Same thing here and here, and now we're going to do that little. We're going to cup the opposite side. All right. So by carving down about 1.25 inches, just kind of bringing it around. Alright. Same with the bottom. And we can roll that right around to all 3 sides too, the same. Just bringing the top and the bottom to a center. There. Take a little bit off the sides. Okay, so that's pretty rough. Kind of the shape is coming. All right. Let's get this a little bit rounder, right to a point. So it's going to be off center of the pickle because it's curved. So let's just round the top over. And then we can do more of a thinning on the bottom. Well, was this a bad idea there, Gwen? Finn, come talk to Gwen. Come and see Gwen. Here, Gwen, look. Here's your buddy. You guys. I'm gonna come to a point on the bottom, rounding as we go. Okay. So, this is our basic pickle shape. Now all I'm going to do is just take some time, get rid of any flat spots, smoothing and rounding the whole thing. We still want the knife marks. We don't want any spots that aren't flowing with the pickle. So apparently this is an old German tradition. Now there is a conspiracy about this too, that it was just a marketing thing in the late 1800s, this pickle. But I kind of like the idea. And I figured it'd be a real fun little carving project. Hard to be much easier than this. The only battle that I'm having with this pickle is not putting a face on it. It may be out of line. It's a regular old pickle shape. I'm making this one bigger than my original that I did. Okay, so let's just take our pickle and put a couple of lines. We're not going to go right to the end. Just going to put a line. Maybe we'll kind of quarter it, staying you know, 3/4 of an inch each way, and we'll just put four lines. Yeah. Now, if you have a V tool, this would be a good time to dig out your V tool. Let's do it. I'll show you one. I can just cut it first with my knife, just to show you don't have to have a V tool. I'm just going to make little cuts in there, like a pickle would, but I don't want them too sharp. So even then, I'm going to just smooth that edge a little bit, taking the sharp V off. All right. With the grain. Okay, so we're just trying to hang on to it. But see, we're just making one little, there's a little sliver. You gotta go with that grain. You can see how that needs to be with grain, but just a little kind of dimpled cut. Now I'll do this one with the V tool here. I can go a little bit deeper. It doesn't have to be straight, it kind of goes with the pickle a little bit. See what I mean about that sharp edge? I'm just gonna round that off there, because it's not a real cut. It's just kind of like a, I don't know what you call it, crease. Okay, there we've got two. All right. So just do all four the same. So I had never heard of this little tradition until I went to Disney, at Epcot Center for Disney in Florida, and in the German pavilion they had a tree up full of pickles in the description of what it was. And yeah, I thought it was pretty cool at the time. So that is basically it. If you see any little overly sharp edges or flat spots, you can take them out, but that's your basic pickle. Trickiest part is just getting that little belly in there, but with the narrower bottom, it's okay to kind of break off a little bit. So, all right, so time to paint her up. One thing that's a good idea is to, it may be a good project for a future video, but I see some wood carvers have a little dowel with a little nail in the end, but I've got a nice pick. But what we're going to do is we're going to kind of figure out kind of where that hangs, how it's going to hang in the tree. And it's not centered, but I'm just going to push that in there. Now I've got a pickle on a stick, and so you can take a nail or anything and stick it on. Now we don't have to hold on to it while we paint, because it'll be a nuisance. We'll make a mess. So ready to paint on my pickle, and the colors I'm going to use today are hunter green and forest moss. Now, why am I using hunter green and forest moss? Because that's what I have. So basically I got a dark green and a light green. As I showed you in the last painting video, I'm just going to put maybe one big drop of paint, and then about 10 drops, 12, of water. Now we're just going to mix it up. Okay. Take our pickle here. We're just going to paint the whole thing. It's going to be fairly light, especially on the sides. The end grains on the top and the bottom are really going to suck it right in, but the rest should be a little bit lighter. All right. I don't know if I could even think of an easier project to do. But again, the easy ones are the funnest ones, because you can just whip them out. You can make pickles for your whole extended family in a matter of an evening. So, okay, there's one coat. All right, now we're going to take our forest moss. Same thing. Just give it one drop. That's a healthy drop. I'm going to put a little bit less water, maybe not as much water, maybe like 1 to 8. Like, please don't get too caught up in the numbers. Light green, dark green, all right. But now what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to go right in those little cracks. May take a couple of coats. We're just kind of highlighting, and then we can go a little bit bigger, just around those cracks. A little bit above, a little bit below, a little bit beside. It's going to soak in. Because a pickle is just not one solid color. It's a bunch of different hues. And you can see already how that's soaked in. Alright. Now we can just kind of just lightly brush it out. And don't worry about the edges, we're going to go over it again. Just kind of lightening it up. Alright. Now, I'm going to take my solid color, just put a little dab on that. Oh, there we go. There, you see that? Take the solid color just kind of go in the middle, and now we'll just kind of flare it all out. And now you see how those little cracks really pop. There, you can see how that's just got a little bit lighter on top. Just making a bunch of different colors. Right? I'm no painter. I'm just fooling, and you can fool around too. But yeah, so you can see a little bit of a lighter hues here and there. We can even go back, and if we think we got a little bit darker, we can put a little bit of light stuff over the dark. Just kind of blend it all shades of green. Alright, I'm gonna let this one dry, and then we'll come back and give it some beauty warts. Anyway, this next part here is we're gonna give it little warts. Now you know how the cucumber has little warts all over it. Well, we don't want to carve them in, but we're gonna highlight them with the paint. Now you'll notice that at no time did I leave any of the solid color paint on. Even when I put it in the middle, I still lightened it up with a bit of that water, lighter color. So now we're just going to use that, what do we call it, hunter green. Got a little stylus here. If you don't have a stylus, just take a toothpick, and all we're going to do is we're going to dab it in and put little dots on. Nice heavy dots. In fact, you can also go back and do them twice if you want. We don't want to see any real pattern. We're just putting dots. We'll just continue like this all around the pickle. So I will finish my dots, and then I'll come back and throw a little finish on it. Finished pickle, warts and all. I'm going to put some wax on it now, but I forgot to say I'm no cucumber expert, but I didn't put any warts any higher really than the those little grooves, little creases in the cucumber. I didn't put them on the top. I thought they just should stay in the middle. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but that's what I did. Alright, so I'm just going to take some of this wax. Just going to give a real quick coat. You can oil it, varnish it, do whatever you want with it, but if you're going to keep it for years to come, it'd be good to protect it with something, whether that be oil or some kind of a varnish. Alright. Good enough. Buffer out. Alright. So, all we're going to do now is we're going to put some little eye hooks in. I bought the smallest ones I could find, and they are, what's it say here, 9/16 total, but I think they're only about 1/4 inch round. So we've got our little hole started where we put our nail or ice pick or our little holder. So I'm just going to screw that little eye hole in there. Just like so. Now if you go to the store and try and buy just the little ornament hangers, you'll quickly find that you have to buy 500 at a time. So maybe a piece of wire will suffice. Just going to put that through our little eye hook. We've got her ready to hang. Alright, and there is our little Christmas pickle. Fun little project. Little confidence booster for the new carvers, and it's just really fun. And like I said, you can bang off a whole bunch in one evening and paint them all together and give them away and share them. So there you go. Christmas pickle video done. See you next time, guys.